In this video, I'm going to explain to you why systems and why you should be building systems in your life is the most important thing and is going to make you a profitable trader. It's probably going to take me around about 15-20 minutes. I have no idea how long this video is going to go on. However, if you cannot stick around for that amount of time, you have no business probably trading and definitely not looking at these higher IQ level trading videos, because let's be honest, most of the things that you see are entry level for basic beginning traders. Now, this is a little bit of a higher IQ, but if you front run and you shortcut the things that I'm going to show you right now, system based, and the things that you need to do, you are going to get rid of all the nonsense, all the guru stuff, all the BS stuff, and you're going to get a head start on every other beginner trader. So let's dive into it. So what if I told you the reason that you're struggling to find consistent success in trading isn't about the markets, isn't about the charts, or isn't about the indicators? And I know in the comments I will have brand new traders who say it's about this, it's the indicator, it's this and that. But once you get to a certain level of trader, you understand that it has nothing to do with the markets, the charts, or the indicators. And the biggest variable in your trading journey is you. That's a factor. And you will start to realize that depending on where you are on your journey. At the beginning, you probably won't understand that. So this video is going to help you shortcut all the stuff that you see and get you where you need to get to a lot quicker than if you went the traditional way of trading. Now, it sounds a little bit counterintuitive. I understand, right? I get it. But hear me out. Please hear me out. Because understanding this one thing, this idea of systems, is going to completely shift your entire approach when it comes to trading, right? So most traders, as we know, as you did and maybe are, and as I did, focus on everything external, okay? The market conditions, the setups, the strategies, more knowledge. And you get that analysis paralysis, as we know, but people still don't look beyond that and they want to find out more and they blame everything else but themselves. They're looking for something else. But everybody's missing the one key thing, which you don't really see a lot of on YouTube, and that's your own system, your role in the system when it comes to trading, and your role in your own system. I got a comment the other day, and the guy was talking about, the indicators and and not once did he mention about how to design his trading routine, his trading life, his systems. Okay. So I'm not just talking about your trading styles and your risk management, your beginner level kind of stuff that you have to go through and you have to understand, of course. I'm not talking about that type of stuff. I'm talking about the mindset, your behaviors, they're the most important thing. Understanding your emotional impulsiveness and your ability to adapt with what's going on in your own mind. That's the key, people. The ability to adapt what's going on in your own mind. Now, they're the true variables. They are the true variables, what's going on in your mind right now, okay? And that's what's going to determine your success. I don't care what anybody says. I'm just going through my experience, what I've done, what's brought me success in life, in trading, in relationships, whatever it is. I'm telling you right now, from my personal experience, I was the variable. Nothing to do with the outside world. I was the variable. So, you see, we know trading is just not about the external systems. We understand that. I've just talked about that. Whether it's price patterns, whether it's technical analysis, and all that economical data, we know what's going on at the moment with the tariffs. We understand that the market is crashing. Our systems, if they're in place, it does not matter that the market is crashing right now, all right? It's the systems that are going to shape our internal dynamics, right? Systems are going to shape our internal dynamics, my decisions, your psychology, your reactions. But here's the kicker. Here is the kicker where we're going to move our IQ for the next level. The trader, which is you, is the most component of that system. You are the most important component of that system, right? You are the one who's going to influence the outcome, not the market. You are the one who's going to influence the outcome, not the market. So the market is simply a reflection of human behavior. We know that, okay? Including ours. It's including ours. It's not everybody else against us. It's including ours. The market is moving in a reflection of each and every one of us that are watching this video. And when you fail to understand how your mind works, okay, how your emotions work, how your belief systems shape up, how your decisions are determined by how you've wired your brain, you're leaving the most important element unchecked. So you're going through these systems, you're going through this 2R risk, and I'll wait for this confirmation, and I'll do this, and where's my stochastic RSI, and where's the volume, and I'm waiting for this candle formation. Not once do people speak about the most important element, which is you. How are you seeing what's actually going on, and how are you reacting to the emotional triggers that are going on in your brain? And I've got some steps for you, some very, very important steps that you need to understand in this video. So again, stay focused. If you can't stay focused for 20 minutes, you have no right in even trading, right? It's that simple. So let me ask you this. How well do you understand your own internal systems? That question might go straight over your head. And that's why you've come to a higher IQ level and a higher IQ video. How do you understand your own internal systems? Your patterns, your fears, your triggers, your impulsive behaviors, okay? How much do you realize that your success as a trader, okay, isn't about predicting market moves? It's not about predicting that. It's about mastering your own systems from within. Now, I speak about this all the time in my training. I'm passionate. You can see my reactions, the way that I am with my hands. I love psychology. I have a degree in psychology. It aligned with obviously being an athlete. It was very, very powerful for me to get where I am to get to now by understanding that. But if you don't understand yourself and you're not willing to go and master your own self and systems, you're not going to make it in trading. That's an absolute fact. I can show you all these videos of this trading strategy and get 150,000 views, and this is a liquidity grab, and this is when you should get in a trade. That's a load of basic beginner stuff trading. You need way more than that internally to understand what you're doing. If you follow the way that I trade, I have a very, very simple 3-step process. And I've traded every strategy in the world, and I've come back to having a few lines on my charts and an entry criteria that makes me well over 6 figures a year now, right? It was nothing to do with that. It's all to do with internal mastery, okay? So what I want to do, I want to offer you a few actionable steps that are going to allow you to get a hold and start to understand that internal system. And in turn, it's going to start improving your trading results straight away. It's also going to improve other areas of your life, because if other areas of your life are a mess, your trading is going to be a mess. These steps are going to be part of your journey and part of your foundation to becoming a systematic trader. Systematic, methodical trading is what's changed the game for me and the community who are taking regular payouts in the futures prop firms. If you followed me, you've seen people in the community and all that kind of stuff. You've seen all that stuff, okay? So if you are going to go down the route and watch this video and you're halfway through and you're going to understand of what you need to do to be a systematic trader, you're not going to just react to the market. You're going to understand how to use your own behavior in relation to the information you get from the market, which is going to give you success, right? So step number 1, you need to cultivate self-awareness. It's incredible how many people, after all the material that is out there, still don't understand that you must create self-awareness. And if you see me pause and look, I'm thinking, all right? You must create, because I want to get the right words out for you, rather than mumbo jumbo kind of nonsense. You need to understand that you need to cultivate self-awareness. Now, most people are drifting through life. If you don't know what that means, read the book by Napoleon Hill, Outwitting the Devil. Most people are drifting through life. They're drifting through trading. They're drifting through their relationships. They're drifting through their gym routine. They're drifting. That is no self-awareness. So it's number 1, you need to cultivate your self-awareness. What do I mean by that? Well, before you dive into any trade whatsoever, you must pause for a moment and check in with yourself. Pause, check in. That's why you need a system to stop that impulsive reaction within a few seconds, something needs to be in that blocker for you to stop making that decision. So just pause, right? How are you feeling? Are you calm? Or is this an emotional trade? Are you revenge trading? Is it still clouding your judgment on what you're actually doing in the trade? Right? Are you feeling overconfident? You got a little bit of an ego going on because you've won 4 or 5 trades in a row, or a big win, right? Are you now worried that you've had a big win and paralyzed from fear, so you don't want to enter the trade? All these emotions are going to influence how you act at that split second. So it's crucial that you're aware of them before you even execute the trade. And that's what self-awareness is. Self-awareness is the first step to taking control of your reactions. And that comes internally. The internal voice, the good voice and the bad voice. Can you defeat the bad voice as you get into that trade? This is deep. You're not going to get it over this video, but if you watch my content and understand how your brain works, you will understand and get a lot better at trading than you currently are at this moment in time. Step number 2, identifying a biases. I don't mean, is it a daily bias? Is it a 4-hour bias? I don't mean none of that. I mean biases within yourself. Sometimes you could come to the market and say, I'm only looking for longs, and you convinced yourself that you're only going to look for longs, or I'm only going to look for shorts, and you've convinced yourself that the only setup that you're possibly going to go is that what you're going to. You don't tell the market what you want. The market tells you, and then you need to have a calculated reaction to that information. Okay, so we all have biases. We're not going to be at the level. I have biases. We all have biases, right? But maybe you're over optimistic about a certain style. Maybe you think it's definitely going to work, right? So you just convinced yourself. Or perhaps you tend to second guess when it comes to pulling the trigger. Maybe I'm not too sure, right? These are biases that are going on within your mind frequently, every second, all right? So it's critical to understand your personal biases, whether it's confirmation bias, right? Whether you're looking for data to support what you really, really want to see, or whether it's loss aversion. Now, loss aversion is when you're being hesitant to take losses, which means you've got some green and you don't want to take those losses. That's loss aversion, okay? That is a fear factor, and that is a problem in people's trading. So identifying your biases along the way is going to help you make more rational, more objective decisions. And obviously, instead of getting lost in your emotional control in the roller coaster, you're going to have clarity. And as you know, clarity breeds confidence. Step number 3 is going to be develop emotional regulation. I love this one. I absolutely love this one. Now, as you can see, I'm looking down here because I have my notes, okay? I don't like to edit. It is what it is. I like to have it raw so you can get what you need to get to, because I don't care about the fancy stuff. You shouldn't care about the fancy stuff. You should care about getting a system and making money. That's what you should care about. Nothing else, all right? So develop an emotional regulation, right? So the markets are constant test. The markets continues to test you, and they're going to test your emotional state time and time again. So are you going to let the fear make you pull out of the market too early? Or will you let the greed make you stay in a position for too long, right? This is regulating your emotions during the trade, right? The key here is emotional regulation. And instead of reacting impulsively to what's going on in the market, right, you're going to develop routines with your systems and practices. These practices are going to allow you to stay centered. Okay? We're going to have fear, greed, fear, greed, fear, greed. We need to try and keep that pendulum in the middle to stay centered as much as possible, right? Very, 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 very important. Now, it could be something as simple as taking a deep breath. It could be walking away. It could be doing 5 press-ups. It could be a shock clock. You could have a lockout button on certain platforms, but you need something to regulate your emotions, all right? Because that's going to regulate your trading. And you're going to thank me later if you understand, get those blockers in. Step number 4, I think got around about 6 steps, okay. Step number 4 is create a feedback loops. I've got a great video on feedback loop theory. Go and check that out, so I won't talk about this too much. But you must collect data and reflect on your trading and your emotions. And that's where your journaling comes in. The feedback loop theory is a great way to understand, because most people are trading this week, they didn't even have a journal. They couldn't even tell you what trades they took last week. How is that even? You can't be taking this serious if you just think that you're going to be able to just off the top of your head. Everybody should journal more. I should journal more. At the beginning, I journaled loads. As I got better, I didn't need to journal. It's a mental block. I understand my systems and I understand my triggers right now. I understand the days to trade, the times to trade right now. Okay, I'm at that level, but you're not going to be at that level when you first start trading. So feedback loop theory is essential. It's going to help you, right? After each trade, you need time to reflect, all those types of things, a win or loss, as you know, all that kind of stuff, your goals, your behaviors, and then you learn from that feedback. That's a simple one. If you want to know more details about that, I've got a great video on feedback loop theory. Go and check that out. Step 6, all right? Set rules and stick to them. Yeah, this is just standard beginner's guide to trading. But it's one of the most powerful things that you could possibly do in your trading. You must stick to rules. You want freedom. Let me tell you something. When you start trading and you can become consistent and you have freedom, like I do, there is more discipline in having freedom than not having freedom. Because to have freedom, you think you can just do what you want. But to maintain that freedom, you have to stick by a systematic rules-based approach to life. So stick to your rules. Very, very, very important. All right. So I hope that really, really helps you, right? Going forward in relation to that. So one last font. This is the one last step, right? The last step is embrace adaptability, which is step 6. You've got to embrace adaptability. Markets change. The day changes. The clouds change. The weather change. Your wife's or your whatever partners, your moods change. Your children's change. The day changes. But more importantly, the market changes every millisecond. And if you're using the 100-tick chart, you'll know about that, right? Which means, guess what? Your emotions are going to change. Right? Your emotions are going to change. So what worked in one market might not work in another market at that time. Strategies are strategies and they work in every single market. But it might not work at that time. So that's why you must adapt. Because if you're trying to do the same thing in different market conditions, it's not going to work. And you're going to get in yourself and dig yourself in a hole and a hole and a hole. So once you have a system and your approach, you're going to be able to be flexible. And you're going to be able to work in different environments, all right? And that's why it's so, so important. So learn how to pivot when necessary and never become rigid in your thinking. Oh, I might miss out, or there's a new opportunity, or these types of things like that. Just protect your mind and protect yourself by embracing adaptability, all right? Very, very important. Very, very important. Very, very important. So when you start focusing on all these internal systems, your mindset, your emotions, all that type of thing, you're going to be absolutely flying in the game. I can tell you that right now. Systems is the key. I've started doing a lot of research and a lot of work on systems. I talk about thinking in systems, the book. You know, I spoke about it the other day as in relation to create dopamine hits by following a system. You get a dopamine hit by following a rules-based system. But this is a little bit deeper. It's for the next level of trader. As you know, I work with a certain amount of people. If you need any help with all that stuff, you know what it is. I don't have a $500 course. I don't have a $1,000 course. I work with people. And for the most of the people that watch this video, it's probably not going to be you because it's of the higher level of trading and getting you where you need to get to. If you want to shortcut that journey and go all in, feel free, you know where I am. There's a link below, book your call, do all that type of stuff. I will see you all on the next one.